Well, welcome everyone to a new Q&A section. Feel free to drop any questions you have in the chat so we can just go through them and answer them. And now what we will do is talk about a new feature we have released, which is anonymous authentication with Firebase. Mostly this consists of creating a login system where we allow the users to enter the app without creating an account. And then we can control what screens of the app we want to allow these anonymous users to see, until at the end, when they try to navigate to some private section, we actually require authentication. So I will share my screen and I will show how the design needs to be set up. Okay, so this is basically the authentication flow we already had before. With Firebase, we have two login methods right now. One is email password sign in, and the other one is phone sign in. So actually for this anonymous login, you need to also implement at least one of those. And then here, as you can see, this is the login page. We indicated it here with this tag. So this is the page where the users will land when they open the app. And here we are giving them the three options: sign in with email, sign in with SMS, or continue as guest. So if they click here, they will directly come to the home page without needing to create an account. And basically, to enable this, we have this tag here that indicates that this text will act as a link that lets the user in. So of course this requires some setup in Firebase. We have that in the documentation, like apart from enabling at least one of these two login methods, there is also an anonymous method in Firebase. So you need to activate that and then upload the Firebase assets to Bravo as in like the previous login systems. That's pretty much the same. So then here, this is the interesting part. We have the app, right? So here we have the home page, and let's say everyone can see this page because we don't have any tags here. However, if we come to this screen, we have here this tag which says require scope locked. Basically, this indicates that only users who have logged in can view this page. So we will do now a demo so you can see that. But whenever we put this tag in a screen, it will require users to authenticate. So if an anonymous user tries to come here, we have two options: either show them a toast message, that will be the default option saying, hey, you need to authenticate, or actually the recommended one is to create a fallback page where we can say, okay, you must be logged in and you need to log in now. And this is actually linked to the login page, as you can see. So we will redirect them here, and then here they can create their account and authenticate. So this special screen has another tag here, scopes error. So this is the tag required to create this fallback screen. So what we can do now is just do a quick demo. So let me just share my phone screen now. Okay. So this is the app. We already did all the Firebase configuration stuff, just to show it now. So if we click continue as guest, which I will do now, okay, we entered the app. We didn't need to log in or create an account, but now we will try to access this exclusive section. And you see we get this message. So we need to go back to login if we want to see that page. However, we were able to see the home screen because we didn't put any tag there. That doesn't allow an anonymous user to see that. So if we now log in, I will just use a test account we have. So now I will log in and I will try again. And now we can see the exclusive content page. So basically, that's the feature. Of course, you can have more than one private sort of pages, and you can even create, like, if let's say you have two private pages here, you could create separate fallback screens for each of those pages. So that's also possible here. This tag means that we are using this as the general error page, so it will show by default for all the private pages when an anonymous user tries to access that. But we can also kind of connect different fallback pages to different private pages here. So yeah, that's the feature. I hope like it's useful for many people, because we have been requested this quite a few times.
So I got a question.
Yeah.
Is there any way? What would happen if someone logs in as a guest and then uses the app? Is there any benefit? Was there any way of then, them saving? If they then log in later on, I guess it's a completely new session, right? It's not like they've saved what they've done, because I guess they can't really save what they've done, because you have to connect the anonymous user to the user.
Yeah, exactly. When you are an anonymous user, you don't really have any state information associated to that. So I don't know. Okay. It could be that you have an app showing some information about kind of a city like this one, and you want everyone to be able to access that. But maybe you have some section where, I don't know, users who register can like bookmark places, or can access more like exclusive information or whatever. So yeah, I mean, there are definitely, I guess, a lot of use cases here, but
that's very cool. Nice. Okay. Is there anything else you want to cover, or should we go to?
Okay, I'm just going to the chat. I saw Noor asked like 2 questions here. Okay, so now this feature for now, it's only possible with Firebase, because Firebase has support for this anonymous login method. But I guess like in the future, if other providers also add support for this, we can support it. But for now, it will be available for Firebase.
Yeah, I think with Xano, it's a little bit more complicated, because there's no natural anonymous login. I think you can fake it to a degree.
Yeah.
Because with Xano, you have control over what actually an authenticated user looks like. So I think there is a way that we could fake it, but we might need to do a bit of work to extend the Firebase sort of tags to work with that as well. So yeah, I don't think it's fully ready to go with anything else just yet. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Then the other question, the deep link one, that's an interesting one. That's something that I've come across as well. It's quite hard to auto-generate the deep links, isn't it? It's not an easy thing to do if you don't have the page already visible.
I guess it is. I mean, we don't have currently a way to obtain those links, but I guess it should be possible, because at the end we have the internal URLs. So
yeah, no, it is possible to generate them, but it's quite it is a little bit complicated. I think we had some discussions around making a deep link generator to actually kind of make that a bit easier, but at the moment it's a fairly manual process. But I think maybe this is something you can raise as a support ticket to ask the question, and we can dig it out if that's necessary, if that's important.
Yeah. Okay. So then there was another question in the community. Let me just share my screen again.
Okay.
Okay. It's also regarding authentication, so I guess it's kind of connected. Okay. So this is Alex that couldn't attend due to like the time zone question matters, but Um, yeah, so he was interested in transitioning from Xano to Firebase, and I guess like he was wondering like what are the main differences, or which is actually something users come across a lot. So here, I mean, he's kind of unsure whether he can show like private data to the right user, which may I guess it means like being able to filter the data and return data only for the user who needs to get that data. And I mean, I guess that's possible, but you always need to make sure that the backend is able to filter that. So if you send from Bravo the user ID, you need to make the backend return the items associated to that user ID.
I mean, this is one of the classic problems with this. I mean, you can filter it, but the danger is if you make a mistake, then you can show more people's data. That's always the thing. Whereas with Xano, you can actually have like, you can make it like row level authentication, so only the user can see their own data. So it's kind of built in. So there's like an extra level of security, which is a big advantage if you need to be careful about that. And it's something to always bear in mind, because often, you know, if you're changing things, you make a mistake, you could expose other people's data if you don't filter. If you're always making sure you filter that on the user ID. So it's a very good point.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess the good point about these backend tools like Xano is that they have those extra security levels that that make the app more secure at the end. And I mean, he's also saying like the cons of using Xano is that you don't have like these extra things that you currently only can log in with email and password. I guess that's a current limitation, but of course, like we could potentially try to add more support for. I know Xano does have a possibility to reset password. However, you need to like make the implementation of with SendGrid or some service, or even via SMS, so the user gets this link and then they get to reset the password.
I mean, it's possible that you can actually kind of get the best of both worlds. If you use Firebase or even Auth0 as that log authentication layer, then they will handle that whole kind of, you know, forget password thing. But then but then what happens is the Firebase or Auth0 gives you a unique identifier, and then that identifier you could then protect the data with. So effectively, by having this extra layer on top, you kind of get the best of both worlds. One of the challenges with Xano is it's not great handling multiple authentication methods. You can kind of get it to work with Facebook or Google, but to do them several simultaneously is not easy with Bravo. So, you know, I've often found I've needed to add in an extra layer has a lot more flexibility to handle multiple authentication methods like Firebase or Auth0. And actually, I think this is something we should do an article on, actually, Javier. I mean, trying to explain how to use these extra layers of authentication, but still get that sort of security, so you're not having to worry about filter and user ID all the time. But in theory, because you get a unique identifier from Firebase and Auth0, you still should be able to use that advantage of Xano at the same time.
Yeah, and I know some users have used, not with Xano, but with their custom backends, they use Firebase, and then they use these identifiers with their backend to do this stuff. So for sure, that's a very good opportunity to use Firebase combined with another tool.
Okay, so I think, is there anything else we should flag up, or do you think that's enough for today?
I think those are like the most relevant points I had for today. So unless there are any more questions, I guess we can just close it for today.
Okay, so unless there's anything else, then we're gonna stop then. Okay, well, not hearing anything other questions come up, so all right, well, I hope everyone has a great weekend, and see you next time.
See you soon.
Thanks, Javier. Okay.
Bye bye. Thank you, Toby.